Welcome back to the Black Summit. I'm Brooks.
I'm Hendricks.
And we are glad to be back with you guys here today. We got a great show coming up for you. We're going to be talking about LeBron's latest comments. Basically, he went on the Pat McAfee show, and he went after everybody. I mean, he was unfiltered. I don't think I've seen LeBron like this before. He went after Brian Windhorst, and also he went after Stephen A. So we'll be talking about that. We have to talk about this story that came out of the White House, right? Basically, they accidentally had a group text that they added a reporter to.
Yep.
Which was crazy, right? Most people already heard about this story, right? But Pete Hegseth, he still hasn't basically acknowledged it. He keeps not saying anything about it. So I want to talk about that because it's kind of crazy. With all of this stuff that's going on in the White House, I mean, these Teslas have been vandalized all across the country. We've talked about it a couple times on this show, but also a lot of people are taking their Teslas and they're rewriting the T and putting something else. Like I tell you, I got a video I want to show you specifically.
It's still a Tesla.
But yeah, I know, it's still a Tesla. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Tuah and that scandal. Basically, I think she's getting a documentary. So we'll probably touch on it. We'll talk about it maybe. We'll see. We'll see how it's going. But but first, I want to talk about LeBron James. LeBron James went on the Pat McAfee show and was basically unfiltered. And I want to play a few of the sound bites from his episode, and I'm going to pull that up now.
Yep.
Which leads obviously to you and Stephen A. Hey, legit, that feels like a moment that had been brewing for a long time.
He's like on a Taylor Swift tour run right now.
Oh yeah, yeah, we're watching it.
Yep.
We're all.
Oh yeah,
you're seeing it as well. It's,
He literally. It started off with, I didn't want to address it.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't want to address it. I wasn't going to address it, but since the video came out, I feel the need to address it.
Yeah, we're viral. You would be not to talk about it.
Are you kidding me? If there's one person that couldn't wait to the video to drop so you can address it, it's your ass. Like seriously, it's and like another, he completely missed the whole point. The whole point. Never would I ever not allow people to talk about the sport, criticize players about what they do on the court. That is your job, to criticize or to, be in a position where, okay, if a guy's not performing, that is all part of the game. That's all part of the game. But when you take it and you get personal with it, it's my job to not only protect my damn household, but protect the players, and I think,
All right, so that's what he had to say about Stephen A. I do want to get into the Brian Windhorst thing, but let's just respond to what he said about Stephen A. What are your thoughts? Because knowing everything that Stephen A. already said about him, and now getting into this moment where he sits down and has this to say, what do you think?
Well, Stephen A. already addressed it. He said he was talking about LeBron. He wasn't talking about his son. He said his son wasn't ready yet.
Right. Well, what do you think about LeBron? What do you think about LeBron's response to this?
LeBron, honestly, I think regardless if LeBron just, because Stephen A. said that pretty much nepotism, which I don't think nothing wrong with it. White people do it all the time. I don't think nothing wrong with it that he got his son in. Hell, I'd get my son in the league too. Shoot. I mean, you wouldn't do the same?
Yeah, of course. If I had the opportunity to do that.
Come on now. The king of nepotism is Donald Trump. Your boy.
Okay.
Look at his daughter. You just give her office. Nobody know what she do. But anyway, he said he was talking to LeBron from what Stephen A. said. I think LeBron was going to take it personal either way.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Meaning, say if he didn't say, we all know what Stephen A. said, we all know your son is in the league because of who his father is and all that, and that's so fine as it'll be, but he was saying his son wasn't ready. Right? So Stephen A. said he was mainly addressing LeBron, right? Now, that's one aspect of it. Now, let's say if Stephen A. just didn't even mention LeBron and he just went straight on Bronny. Like, I don't know what you're doing. You need to go back to the G League or whatever. I don't think you're ready yet. And, say if he just kept it on that and you're not producing like everybody think you would do. Of course, you're not your father, but, if he would have said that, I think LeBron would have still took it personal because at the end of the day, that's his son. So I think he would still, kept it. I think he would still felt offended by the comments.
Yeah.
But that's Stephen A.'s job to critique and believe it or not, he getting likes too. So he may say some outlandish stuff. He's very animated.
Yeah.
And then he got that big old contract with ESPN, like some astronomical figures,
Yeah.
But
he's rolling.
Yeah, he's definitely rolling. He's definitely rolling in the dough.
Okay.
But I think LeBron would take it personal either way. Is he right or is he wrong for how he addressed it? What you think?
Well, I think this is the part of LeBron that I don't like, and it
Well,
just
you don't
annoys.
like LeBron, period,
It just
anyway.
annoys me. No. First of all, I like LeBron off the court, okay, because I think he's an exemplary
No.
person. When
We're
it
talking
comes
about
to him
on the
being a
court.
father, when it comes to him, some of the stuff that he does in the community. I mean, like, I like him off the court.
We're talking about on the court.
But when it comes to
On
this
the
kind of
court.
stuff, like, LeBron, come on. Like, please. He's such a whiny baby. I mean, let's just call it what it is. This man whines all the time.
He does?
He's always whining. Listen, I just heard about this guy who was a Lakers fan and LeBron fan for years. And basically, LeBron got him kicked off. I don't know how true this story is, but I've seen it happen before.
Got him kicked off.
Get him kicked out of the arena because he had a problem with what the guy was saying, even though the guy was a fan of his. And he was basically cheering him on. I mean, and we've seen him kick out people out of the arena because, he had a problem with what they had to say and all this other stuff. He's just a whiny baby. And I mean, this is why he could never be the GOAT. This is why he could never be the GOAT, because he does stuff like this. And it's like, my guy, I mean, I don't know what else to say about this, honestly, because I just I don't like the man. I don't like the man.
I told you didn't like him. See,
No, when it comes to the
LeBron.
on the court stuff, because this is the guy that we're supposed to say is the GOAT. It's kind of like, come on.
Hey, that man brought you a championship in the bubble.
I mean, it's good to hear that him and Jordan's relationship is good, But let's be honest, Jordan is the GOAT. And LeBron coming out and saying stuff like this proves it. And so, anyways,
I mean,
that's just what
I don't
say.
think he said nothing bad or malicious to Jordan. I mean, that's just, dude, people who played with Jordan actually said some things about Jordan. Look at what Scottie Pippen is saying. But
Well,
he just said they
that
don't
was-
have a relation. I mean, they know each other. But
No,
they
I
don't-
said
they
that's a
don't
good
speak.
thing. I
Yeah,
said
they
no.
don't- yeah, he said, I don't think it's no problem, because like he said, I think he was right. He said, because I'm still a player. He said,
Yeah.
maybe once he retires, then maybe they will have.
Yeah.
But then Jordan don't talk to a lot of people like that, at least to my knowledge,
Yeah.
Jordan, he didn't do any commentating, didn't work for TNT or ESPN or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I've never heard if they offered him anything. Maybe he's not interested in that form of journalism,
Right.
which he went and bought the team, which is a bigger play.
Well, let me talk about this, because LeBron also said that if Giannis played back in the day with some of the the other players, I think he might have said the 60s and the 70s, he would have scored 250 points in a game.
And in the 60s, of course.
You think so?
In the 60s, yeah.
So you think
in the
LeBron was
60s.
right in saying that?
In the 60s, but not if he played in the 90s.
He's just talking about the different eras.
Of course, yeah. Dude, they even asked
So
Jordan.
in the 90s, you think that?
No.
Okay, come on.
They even
Yeah,
asked
let's tell
Jordan.
the truth.
They even
Let's
asked
tell-
Jordan. They
tell the truth.
said, Jordan, if you played in this era now, he said, oh, easy. I mean, these guys ain't. I mean, they I don't want to call them soft. I don't want to use that word, but it's the league is soft. And I get it. You want to kind of clean it up, because you remember now, and to LeBron's defense, with some of the fans, right? You was there for the whole melee with Ron Artest, and some fans get a bit chippy and they throw stuff and I mean they get outlandish sometimes, and I get it, what I'm saying, I get it, and you supposed to just ignore them, what I'm saying, you supposed to just ignore them, and for the most part I guess you can do that, but then some fans, they go above and beyond, and sometimes ain't nobody above an ass whooping sometimes,
Yeah, let me play this clip of LeBron talking about whether he could play in the era of, some of the older eras.
6'9"?
Yeah.
Let's say you're you look very thin right now.
Yeah. I feel good.
So 215, 6'9", 220. Could easily get to 260, though. I think that would play in a lot of different areas.
Yeah, come on. I could play.
Just like
I would be able to play in any area. It's funny you hear some of them older guys like LeBron James couldn't play in this era.
Never been fouled by Bill Laimbeer before.
Yeah. I think I seen like Dennis Rodman say that one time. It was like, LeBron James, not skilled enough. Yeah, not big enough. He's not, doesn't weigh enough. He's not strong enough.
Can't handle it.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think he could play in an era, and this is why he will have to adjust.
Yeah.
It ain't all the calls,
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be different. So then he would have to, and he got the size and the fortitude for it. He would have to adapt to that climate for that era. That's what Jordan said. In this era, as soft as it is, he said, "Oh man, I'll score all night long, easy, easy." All he do was shoot all he want to do is shoot threes. Nobody want to drive to the paint. Nobody barely want to drive to the paint, man. So
throw it up.
Easy. That's it.
Listen, LeBron did play in the 90s. You didn't know this? LeBron played in the 90s. He was Scottie Pippen, okay? If LeBron played in the 90s, his career would look like Scottie Pippen. And what is Scottie Pippen? He's a number 2. He's not a number 1. And then I hate to be like that because, but it's true. LeBron doesn't have that dog in him, okay? He doesn't have the Jordan. He doesn't have the Kobe, okay? And so if he was playing in the 90s, he would look like a Scottie Pippen. That's why Scottie Pippen likes him so much, because Scottie knows that if he was on a team by himself and he played in the era that LeBron plays in right now, he would be the same player as LeBron. He had so much potential to be that, somebody who could, go and get a rebound, go and play defense, but also, score if he needed to. It's a number 2 type game. But listen, that's what he is. I know a lot of people are going to come for me.
Yeah, they
but
are.
he did play in the 90s, and his name was Scottie Pippen. So that's just what I have to say about that.
Scottie Pippen was the best number 2 man in the league.
Yeah.
Any team you play with Jordan, you going to be number 2, number 3, number 4. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Now, I think LeBron could have been number 1 if he played on the Cavaliers. What was the Cavaliers in the 90s? Nobody was ever talking about who they had.
If the game is on the line, and you have to put the ball in somebody's hands, and you had Kobe, Jordan, LeBron.
In the 90s?
And you could only pick 2 people, who are you picking? With the game on the line, you have to hit a basket to win.
You said Kobe.
You can only pick 2.
You said Kobe, LeBron, and Jordan?
Yeah.
That's just them 3?
You can only pick 2 of them. Who are you leaving off of that? Come on, now. Let's stop playing games.
It's obvious.
Let's stop playing games.
But hold on. No. I'll do you one better. Game on the line. You got Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, or Robert Horry. Who are you picking? Oh, no, I'll give you one more. LeBron, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Robert Horry, or you got
Horry.
Horry.
Yeah.
Horry? I thought they pronounced it Horry.
Yeah.
Robert Horry. Or you got Ray Allen.
Yeah.
Ray Allen. Them 5. I'm going to give you...
Who am I taking off?
Well, I already know you taking
off. Come on now. I mean, listen, I'll give LeBron a little bit of credit because he does technically hold some of the stats when it comes to, clutchness. But that's just because he's done it way more than everybody else, I mean, the man's been playing for 22 seasons.
Yeah.
So, but, respectfully, I'll take Robert Horry off of that. But.
You take Robert Horry off?
But.
Shit. Boy, keep Robert Horry on that, boy.
You would?
Yeah, but
oh, okay.
That dude.
So who would you take off?
Different teams?
Who would you take off quickly, and then we gotta?
I'd have to take your boy off.
Who?
I'd have to take LeBron off. But
okay.
You got to give LeBron a little bit of respect too.
I give him respect, but listen, come on now.
When they played Cleveland, when they was down like 3-1 game, when they played Golden State and came back and beat them.
Yeah.
And then no team ever came back from a deficit like that.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of give your hats off to him a little bit in that aspect.
Okay, so you know who Brian Windhorst is, right?
Nope.
Okay, Brian Windhorst is this guy was like...
Windhorst?
Yeah, Windhorst is probably what it is.
Probably Windhorst.
He's been covering LeBron for so many years. And probably, I think since he was in high school, when he was coming in, into the league. Mm-hmm. And so he's been covering from years. And a lot of people, because Windhorst walks around and tries to act like, he's like so tight with LeBron. And this is what LeBron had to say about this.
I see a lot of shit too. Like I seen Brian Windhorst on one of these shows not too long ago. Like
Wendy.
Yeah, you played over high school.
Wendy, you guys played together in high school.
Yeah,
right? He was on your high school
this
team.
guy was like, says he's like my fucking best friend. These guys are just weird. But
Damn, that's it. You just cut it right
That's
there.
all. Yeah. That's all I have from the clip.
So they actually played in high school.
I guess so. I guess they played in high school, but
It got to be high school.
But he's
LeBron
been
didn't go to
reporting on
college.
him the whole entire time,
Yeah.
through the years. Even I think he even reported on the decision and all that. So
You know what? I'm not now. As far as what they say now, as far as the saying you're best friends, I guess they would say that's cap.
yeah,
If they even still use that term, but as far as him reporting on him, I'm not mad at that because hey, he got to make some money too. He's a public figure. You can report on him, and even though you may not be best friends, but you actually know him. Mm-hmm. You can actually say, "I know him." You went a little bit far and say, obviously, everybody know that's not.
well,
his best
he's
friend.
trying to like basically latch himself on to LeBron. That's why he's been doing it for years, and I mean that's really how he's like gained status is through. Oh, I report on LeBron and like all this other stuff. So that's why a lot of people feel the way that they feel about him.
But I ain't mad at him for reporting on him. Hell, he didn't make it to the league. We wouldn't know who he was if he didn't report on LeBron.
True.
So,
That is true.
LeBron James.
All right, let's move on. We've been talking about LeBron for way too long.
Just cut me off of my thought, man.
No, I thought you had more to say.
I said, yeah, I got something to say.
All right, hurry up.
Damn, don't hurry, don't rush me. Shit. LeBron James.
All right.
Go
All
ahead.
right, so we're moving on to politics. We'll come back to sports. We might come back to sports later if we have more time. But I want to talk about Pete Hegseth. Basically, he was involved here with this text chain that went on, as you guys know. He
created it.
And so I want to play these videos so that we can get an understanding of what exactly happened. So here we go. This is a CNN video.
Everybody out there has had a contact where it was said one person and then a different phone number.
But you've never talked to him before, so how's the number on your phone?
National Security Advisor Mike Waltz appeared on Fox News in an attempt to explain how he inadvertently included the Atlantic editor Jeffrey Goldberg to a Signal group chat discussing U.S. war plans.
I mean, I'm not an expert in any of this, but it's just curious. How's the number on your phone?
Well, if you have somebody else's contact and then somehow it gets
someone
sucked
sent
in,
you that
it gets
contact.
sucked in.
Was there someone else supposed to be on the chat that wasn't on the chat that you thought was
So
on
the
the chat?
person that I thought was on there was never on there. It was this
Who
guy.
was that? What person?
Well, I'm not. Look, okay. Laura, I take responsibility. I built the group.
Despite saying he takes, quote, full responsibility, Waltz continued to disparage the Atlantic and Goldberg's journalistic integrity.
You know, Laura, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but of all the people out there, somehow this guy who has lied about the president, gone to just all kinds of lengths.
All right, and this is what Hegseth had to
war
say.
plans. Nobody's texting war plans. Well, I noticed this morning out came something that doesn't look like war plans. And as a matter of fact, they even changed the title to attack plans because they know it's not war plans. There's no units, no locations, no routes, no flight paths, no sources, no methods, no classified information. You know who sees war plans? I see them every single day. I looked at them this morning. I looked at attack plans this morning. You know who does attack plans and war plans? Men like that admiral right there, Paparo for the Indo-Pacific, or Eric.
All right, let me play one more clip so that we get this
I'm sure everybody
fully in there.
We are a go for mission launch. That's what the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, texted to a group of Trump officials on Signal ahead of a series of strikes against the Houthis in Yemen. These texts are from the Signal chat that Jeffrey Goldberg from The Atlantic was added to by the National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz. These Trump officials now claim that what was in this chat wasn't classified information and it wasn't war plans. But after you read these text messages, that's very hard to believe because what they wrote wasn't just specific, it was very sensitive. Take a look at this. Hegseth lays out the time frame for how these strikes are going to unfold. He says that at 12:15 Eastern time, the first strike package will be launched, and that will include F-18 fighter jets. And then 2 hours later, he says, in all caps right here, this is when the first bombs will definitely drop. And then after all these...
All right, so you kind of get the idea, and if people have already seen this by the time this goes up. So what are your thoughts on something like this being leaked? I mean, it's kind of crazy when you think about that, how you could accidentally add somebody to a group text who's not supposed to be there, and they're discussing very highly sensitive, imminent war. They call it not plans, but it sounds like they were war plans. What do you think about all this?
I think they gotta do due diligence and downplay it.
Yeah.
And then that dude who created the group chat, Waltz, and he kept attacking Hegseth, like it's Hegseth's fault. You included him in the group chat, because he attacked him because, from what I heard, because he calls Trump's out on BS and fact check him all the time, and he says he lied on Trump and stuff.
Oh, you're talking about the one that leaked it. His name is Goldberg.
Oh, Goldberg.
Yeah.
Okay.
Waltz set up the group text. Goldberg is the person who was added.
The reporter.
Yes, who's the reporter who was added.
Mm-hmm.
And basically Pete Hegseth, though, is kind of responsible here because he's the one that was saying all the stuff in there.
Saying he was responsible for...
No, he was saying all of the war plans, basically.
Oh, okay, I see.
So he's the one who put all that inside of the group text. And was asking them and telling them, hey, this is going to happen, and
then it did
stuff
happen.
Like that. And and then it did happen.
It did happen.
So
that goes to show the incompetency of the administration. I remember when, I don't know if they still do it, I remember BlackBerry was the official phone for the government. And you couldn't, they were saying something one time about like with Obama's phone. Even if you found it, you still wouldn't be able to get into it. You wouldn't be able to use it. So how you add Goldberg to the? Come on. It's not like it's a name like, say if you had Hegseth and another person name was like Heigerberg, and you just see the H. You know what I'm saying? You accidentally, but you added Goldberg to the group chat. And then they get mad at him because I guess he leaked it and said that obviously because he's a reporter. Mm-hmm. So what they say, if it bleeds it leads. So that's what reporters do. Any crucial information, they're going to put it out because they're getting clickbaits and like too, and it's money too. Hell, we here talking about it now.
Yeah,
that's just and the incompetency on their part, and then they downplay it and attack them. So I wonder why Trump don't fire him for doing that, and that go to tell you the same thing. How the Republicans will downplay it because they wanted to arrest Hillary Clinton for her emails. Mm-hmm. Now is that double standard or what? Is it justified or what? I don't know. Even though they didn't arrest her, but they were saying lock her up, lock her. You remember all that stuff, and people didn't. Well, we don't trust her, with this. So I don't know. This is incompetency, man.
Yeah, and by the way, I just want to make a correction. Pete Hegseth is the United States Secretary of Defense.
Secretary of Defense.
So that's what he is basically.
Appointed by Donald J. Trump.
Right.
President Donald J. Trump.
This is bad. Somebody has to go. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you do something like this, and the laws that it breaks, and stuff like that. So I think that ultimately, you will see somebody probably. I don't know. One of them has to go, though.
Yeah, I agree.
When it comes to, our security, and defense, you cannot have a regular person on those kind of emails and stuff like that. Thank God that he didn't like send it out or say anything about it, or it didn't get leaked further, or they added accidentally somebody else, who could have changed the plans, And I do think these are war plans. I mean, what else are you going to call that?
They did an airstrike. So
exactly. And those are things that happened and went through. So, yeah, I know they're trying to downplay it, but it's like, y'all need to admit to that. Come on now. I mean, that's blatant. You made a mistake, you messed up, and you better say something about it. I think that people need to hold them accountable. There needs to be some kind of accountability. Something needs to happen.
Democratic Party hold them accountable.
Well, I think they are. They're not letting it go. They're talking about it. I mean, this is like the biggest story of the week. I feel like we have a new one every week.
Every week. It's crazy. I think with this administration, there's going to be more to come.
Oh yeah,
there's definitely going to be more to come. I don't think Trump's going to fire anybody because he wasn't seem outraged about it. When he spoke. Because one thing with Trump, he gonna pretty much speak his mind, right?
Yeah.
So he didn't. When they asked him about it, he's like, I didn't know what's going on with all that stuff. I think so and so's doing a fine job and whatever. So he's not gonna.
Well, this is the problem with a lot of his picks. I don't know if you remember, but he was
they're not qualified.
He was picking a lot of random people,
and
a lot of these people. I feel like a lot of these people aren't qualified. I think it's. Some of the picks were interesting, but the people that he was picking, like Matt Gaetz and all these other people forget about that.
Yeah.
And when you put these people who aren't really experienced in there, I mean, this is basically TEI. No, I'm just kidding.
I think
Trump.
You're right.
Trump, no, I'm just kidding.
You're right. It's not DEI, it's TEI. But no, really, that is DEI.
Yeah.
That is.
I mean.
Think about it.
No, I mean, I'm just
no. I know what you're saying, but you talk about I think they are a lot of cabinets DEI hires. DEI benefits white women, white men, more so than I think a lot when they're not qualified, and that's the main thing he's trying to eliminate. Thinking that it's black people getting jobs that you just hire them because they're black. You just hire them because of their loyalty.
Yeah.
You don't give a damn how much they know, what skills they got, and their criminal background. That is DEI. That is DEI. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Instead of, it ain't no damn diversity there. It's just equity and inclusion. But you're right, that's TEI.
So Pete Hegseth is a DEI hire?
Yeah, I think all of them dudes are DEI. All of them, TEI. That's the new Trump, equity, and inclusion. That's exactly what they are. They're TEI.
Yeah.
Hell, if he offered you the position in his cabinet, would you take it?
If I make over $100,000,
of course you will.
It's money, dog.
Of course. And then that'd be like, and then you'd be like, so what do you do? Shit, I don't know. I don't know what I do. I do whatever he tell me to do.
Don't come for me, liberals. I'm just saying, as a person who needs some money, I'll try to make some money.
Shit, man, I think a lot of people take a job in that cabinet, even if they don't like them or not.
It's a government job.
Yeah, look at Snoop. And the boy got paid. Paid up the rectum. The boy got paid. And Soulja Boy. I was like, what?
Yeah, I know, exactly.
I was like, Trump even know who Soulja Boy is? I'm shocked at that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He said, we got to get some African Americans over here.
I know, he had a bunch of them.
He's like, dance, boys.
Oh my gosh.
We about to get canceled.
Have you been hearing about these Teslas that have been vandalized? A lot of people have been vandalizing them, blowing them up, putting swastikas and all kinds of stuff on them.
Oh, are they about to get executive order not to vandalize Teslas?
I mean, basically the Attorney General is basically coming down on them really hard.
You know what's crazy?
What's that?
When you can get federally charged for vandalizing a car, but you get a slap on the wrist when you kill a black man. Ain't that something? Dang. Maybe we need to walk around with tattoos of Teslas on our bodies and stuff like that, so they won't vandalize us.
Yeah, but basically I want to play this clip real quick. This is from the Daily Mail.
seen what's been happening to Tesla. Well, now the FBI is involved and they launched a task force to take down the vandals. We're at the point Tesla owners are becoming cautious. A bunch of these bumper stickers have been spotted over the last few days.
We don't like what Elon Musk is doing.
Teslas and charging stations have been set on fire. Shots have been fired into dealerships and windows have been smashed in 10 different states, including here in New York City.
I disagree with the violence, but sometimes that's what you need to accomplish.
You didn't have that on January 6th, I can tell you.
Elon Musk was a great businessman.
These attacks on Tesla are a form of resistance against what they see as corporate greed and political overreach by the richest man in the world. Donald Trump is calling it domestic terrorism.
What do you think about them calling it domestic terrorism? And he actually compared it to January 6th. He said that wasn't going down on January 6th.
Man, Trump, man. Oh, I mean, are you any, bro? I'm not surprised what comes out of Trump's mouth, man. Yeah. This is Donald J. Trump we talking about. Excuse me, President Donald J. Trump. What are we talking about, man?
Yeah. Come
on, man. Why y'all should be shocked about that? You know.
But yeah, I think it's crazy that people are doing this because a lot of the people who bought Teslas are liberals, and so you're literally messing up, the people who probably don't even like Elon Musk anymore. You're messing their cars up. You're not really going after conservatives or after Elon Musk. I don't think this really hurts him that much. But you're hurting the people who are actually who have these cars. Yeah. So I don't agree with the people doing that, vandalizing people's cars. You don't know people's situations and stuff like that, and I don't know if I would call this domestic terrorism.
No, it's in damn domestic terrorism.
I mean, it's crazy that they would call that domestic terrorism.
Crazy.
When we look at things like school shootings and other things like that, they don't really call those people domestic terrorists.
You know why?
Somebody else has to call it domestic terrorism.
You know why they don't call it?
Why don't they call it?
Because the people who do the shooting look like them. So why would you call that domestic terrorism? And when it's true and it is domestic terrorism.
I've always, whenever something like that would happen, I would always call it. I'd be like, oh yeah, that's terrorism.
It is. It's terrorism.
And, people would be like, no, well, it was an American, so,
That is, when we swore in, when I was in the Army, when we swore in to protect the Constitution against foreign and domestic. Yeah. Domestic terrorism.
Right. And so that's what it is. It is domestic terrorism. So I just find this whole situation interesting, but I also think that people need to stop doing that because the people that you're going after probably agree with you. These Teslas, I don't think anybody really, people are trying to sell them and they can't sell them. And so that's why you see people literally scraping off the T and putting Toyota and putting all these other different, car companies on the back of their Cybertrucks and, their Model 3s and all this other stuff.
But that's
because
crazy.
People are coming up to their cars and keying them and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's,
who in their right mind gonna think a Cybertruck, as ugly as they are, a Toyota? Right. Come on, man. Maybe you might get away with one of these other little Teslas, maybe. Yeah. Just by not glancing too hard, you may think.
But who in their right mind would actually go and start messing with people's cars like that?
Yeah,
I mean, that's crazy.
I don't agree with that either. If you want to get back at them, all you do is just don't buy them.
Yeah.
They can care if you own the car company, then the people bought them and then they destroyed them, you still made money. Just don't buy them. Don't buy it. Let the stock decline. That's all you got to do. Just don't buy it. I mean, granted, he'll take a hit. He's still the richest man in the world.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he is the richest man in the world.
Yeah.
And I think it's apropos for you to actually bring that up because I think to see him fall from being basically a liberal hero. Yeah. Because that's what he was.
And not being from this country.
People bought Teslas because, they basically were concerned about the environment.
Yeah.
And so you see him basically go from being the liberal hero to being a villain. Yeah. And people really hate him, and I've never really liked him like that. I always thought he was weird, and he's even weirder to me now. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy to think that he's getting even weirder.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see though how these billionaires, these rich people, they go with whoever is in power.
Yes.
I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
I mean, because Jeff Bezos and all these guys were coming up And, not too long ago, they were liberals. And they were over there with Obama and all this other stuff. But as soon as, the tide started to change, they've aligned themselves with whoever's winning. Because they're basically bandwagon fans.
Yes, because that's what's going to benefit their bottom line, and the bottom line is money.
Exactly.
I didn't feel any way about Elon. I never had any thoughts, any feeling towards. I mean, me personally, I never really wanted a Tesla. Not saying I just didn't really care to have a Tesla. I thought there were other electric cars that I'd probably like a little bit better.
Yeah.
And that's just my own personal preference. But with Elon, I guess you can say now I'm just seeing like how weird he really is.
Yeah.
But I think it's like I think his ego got the best of him. Being a I make so much money, I can do this. And in America, I know how to be elite is through my wealth. So what's the next thing? What's the next step? Yeah, okay, I got these government contracts. I got Tesla. Now I'm trying to go to outer space. What's the next thing I can do? Let me buy a president. And then maybe let me influence the free world. You know what I mean? Let me influence. And I think even with Trump, I want to say, even with him, let me run for president.
Yeah.
What's the biggest thing I can do?
But I think it goes deeper too, because I think it's just whoever the tide is with right now. I mean, you see the Republicans won. But I mean, you see the Republicans won, and the tide started to change for that side, and so he just aligned himself with that.
He just aligned him, of course.
And
even though Obama won, he was quiet.
Yeah.
He didn't try to buy in there and be in boardroom meetings and stuff.
Well,
like
they
that.
would never let him in.
Exactly, because they know politics.
Yeah.
But dude, you can influence a Donald Trump. Then you can, because he don't come from that background, and he understands money. Hey, you put this money up, and we can do this, and we can do great things, and we can make this happen. Is what he's saying. So they know money will. Well, like I said, money talks and bullshit runs the marathon.
Yeah, not just Elon, but also even Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos, he's changed so much that I don't know if you saw that photo shoot he did with his wife, and basically it was almost like Yellowstone-esque. They're like in a truck with their cowboy hats on and their boots and all this other stuff. This little nerd guy turns into that. Come on. Who are you trying to fool?
It was crazy.
But that's the way that the tide is going right now. So they're like trying to act like those people.
Themselves. Exactly. Even though they don't have to.
Right.
You a billionaire, you can sit back like a Warren Buffett or
it's not Bill Gates?
Yeah, Bill Gates. Listen, Bill Gates. Thank you. But yeah, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, they just sit in the back. I mean, and then some people got some things to say about Bill Gates too. They say he influencing the food that we eat for whatever reason. So I don't know what all conspiracy.
Watch out.
I don't know what's all.
By the way, if you don't know, I think it's Bill Gates, but basically he is now making our apple cider vinegar. So for people who swear by that, the apple cider vinegar. Do you drink apple cider vinegar?
I still do Bragg's.
Yeah.
The organic.
Yeah.
He's doing Bragg's?
I think so.
I don't know.
I could be wrong, but I think he has some kind of fields, and he's like putting it together. And so watch out on your apple cider vinegar. As far as I know, he's messing with it somehow.
Oh, well, I mean, what is he doing? I don't know, man. Why they just don't want Americans to be healthy? Leave the food alone, damn it. You know why?
Well,
money.
It's greed. It's money.
Greed.
Exactly.
It's everything is money.
Exactly.
That's going to be the death of everybody, man. Greed, and you can't take it with you. I mean, I'll be a fool to sit up here and say I don't want wealth. I want wealth. I really don't want fame.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like, right?
Right.
If I'm a thousandaire, a millionaire, a billionaire, or a trillionaire, whatever that looks like, I'll be a fool not to say I don't want wealth. But at the same time, with wealth, I would want to be a humanitarian, and to help as much people as possible, because at the end of the day, you can't take all that stuff with you.
Exactly.
You just can't take it with you. The pharaohs tried, and it just doesn't work. You cannot take it with you.
Yeah.
All
right, getting into our last story. This is from the Daily Mail. Hailey Welsh, better known as Tuah, is basically getting a documentary. A lot of people are talking about this, right? Do you think we need a documentary?
No.
Basically, they're going to be talking about the whole thing. Basically, all of her, successes and failures. As you know, she basically did a pump and dump type of a scheme with her coin, meme coin that she made.
After her fame.
After her fame and everything, and basically, I don't think anybody's really heard from her since then. I mean, there's been some rumblings here and there, but yeah, they're going to chronicle all of the stuff happening, from her becoming famous and all that stuff. So
it's amazing in America.
Yeah.
You go viral off of something, and that's how she got famous.
Yeah.
With a random dude on the street, and they don't even talk about this person's platform. It was a sexual thing.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I know. She said you got to toot and spit on that.
Right. Yeah, that's what she said.
That's what she said, and then she just blew up from that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that only in America? Like Don King said, only in America. Only in America.
Yeah.
And she just blew up from that, man. And then what she did, she tried to do a meme coin?
Well, she went to Hollywood. I think she had her own podcast and was doing all kinds of different things. She got a bunch of deals. She started working with people like Jake, the Paul brothers, and stuff like that.
What though? I mean, the social media
to influence, content. That's the big thing. Content. But yeah, so now she's getting a documentary. Emmy-winning production company Bungalow Media Plus Entertainment, known for surviving Jeffrey Epstein, is developing a project on Welsh, who went from unknown to instant meme after uttering the catchphrase "Hawk Tuah." So yeah, so basically, they're doing the whole thing for her. It's crazy.
Wow, and you're known as the Hawk Tuah girl.
Yeah, that's probably like the worst thing you could be known as.
I know, right? It's the Hawk, And then she probably said it as a joke.
I think she did. I think she
did. Yeah. When she said it jokingly, but I mean, not to say that she might actually did that, but she said it as a joke. But now she's getting. Well, I mean, something, man. You don't need TV no more. You can become famous
right there
from this. Right here, man.
So many people, TikTok,
imagine,
all those things. So
man, we gotta get on our grizzy.
I know. Come on.
You Hawk Tuah on something?
This guy.
Dang. So
all I gotta do is talk about Drake, and I go viral. So
there you go. OVO Brooks.
I do have some comments on Kendrick. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's for another pod. Stat patter, okay? That's all Dak Prescott is. He's a stat patter.
He get you guys to the playoffs.
He can pad some stats after the game is over. It's like, yeah, anybody can go out there and like, especially against scrubs, the second strings people. I mean, like anybody can go and run up the numbers. So anyways.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's it for today. Once again, it's been the Black Summit. I'm Brooks.
I am Hendrix.
And we out.
And we out. Peace.
Peace.